The LCS schedule is officially on the LoL Esports website, and I was looking through it and figured we should talk about week 1 because I think it is going to be absolutely crucial to our spring split. Let's talk some TSM. That is right. We are back, and we are going to be looking at the schedule because it's finally been released. And in case if you didn't know or didn't see my video before this one that came out on Monday, the games have been moved to Thursdays and Fridays. They start at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific. And yes, there's a lot of conversation around that. That is not what this episode is going to be about. You can check out my other one if you want to, see what it's all about. But we are going to talk about why I think week 1 is so crucial. I went through the rest of the schedule, and we'll go through it as well. I'll talk about the easiest weeks. This one's obviously going to be that, week 1. But we'll talk about really tough weeks and where I think, the schedule is going to, or by what point is the schedule going to be a problem for us. And week 1 is certainly not that, because I believe the top 5 teams, in no particular order, I'm just reading it from this list that you guys can see here, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, TL, and FlyQuest. I think those are your 5 best teams. I think Dignitas could have made their way up there if their bot lane wasn't so weak. I think Golden Guardians still have a lot of questions. I think CLG is a good team, but everybody else got better around them while they stayed the same, and I don't think Immortals are all that great yet. They could surprise some people depending on the development of players like Kenvi. Where that leaves us is, I think, the easiest week that we are going to have. And for a team that is generally being picked amongst the lower half, at least, of the LCS, these games are going to be crucial for us because we're not going to have another week where we have, 2 teams that are relatively lower in terms of bottom 5 as well in the same week. Most of our weeks are going to be, one good team, one bad team, or sadly, I think like one of our weeks are 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, right? Like easily 2 of the top, at least 3 teams by some metrics, and probably mine, in the league. And so I just really think that it's worth us discussing this because with Boogie coming in, right, with Neo coming in as well, we do have a bit of consistency between, between Solo and Maple and Chime that hopefully, and obviously our coach staying as well, that hopefully we won't need as much time to kind of bring things together. I really do still think Boogie is kind of the key, the crux to whether or not this team will work. But what I am seeing is I think that we have to go 2-0 in this week for us to really have hope, for us to really have faith that this team can get some stuff done. Because by winning against Immortals, by winning against CLG, we are instantly establishing ourselves as not one of the bottom 2 teams. And again, I know it sounds really dumb, like it's only week 1, but when you only have 8 weeks a year, right? And when you have a team that is not as highly ranked as some of these other teams because their skill position players are not as highly touted or as talented in most regards, you need to find your wins and where you can, and you need to take advantage of teams that are going to be on the struggle bus. I think Immortals in particular, with them only returning 2 players, I'd have to, I'm going to check that to make sure I'm not missing anything here real quick. But with Revenge returning, with Kenvi returning, right, with Tactical, Fleshy, and a Blaze Olive all coming in, sorry, I had to refresh myself there, I think this is a team that we should be able to beat. And we'll do a deeper dive here, later on. But I do really believe that we are a team that is going to have an advantage. And this is going to be potentially one of the only times that we have a very distinct, in my opinion, advantage right away, right? When you look at this game, you think to yourself, all right, where are the only places that we are weaker? And I think initially, at least, the only position we are weaker at is jungle. So I think you have to come out and win this game, right? Because I do believe Neo's better than Tactical. I know that Chime is better than Fleshy. Sorry, Fleshy, but I think Chime's going to really surprise people. I know Maple's better than a Blaze Olive, and I'm pretty sure that Solo's, depending on the meta, better than Revenge. We did all that the last 2 weeks. But this is going to be a team that TSM are going to need to take advantage of. They're going to have to win this first game, right? Get yourself on the right foot, all that kind of stuff. But then you head into this second game with CLG. And we already know all their players. I think they are technically on paper better than us, and they are going to have a continuity approach where they are better. And I think we're just going to have to outdraft and hope that Maple and Neo can outplay, because like this is it. I mean, seriously, the rest of the schedule, which we will go over in the next video, is not as kind to us. We are not going to have teams that, one, are going to be really coming, needing to come together, and who are not as not as talented on paper, at least, as some of the other teams. And then we already know who CLG are, right? We understand who their players are. And yes, they played really well last year, but I think that we absolutely could have beat them in our playoff form. I think that, with one upgrade and a very obvious downgrade in the jungle, I think that we have to pounce. We have to try to get ahead. And it's because there's just not going to be a lot of opportunities, guys. This is not the TSM teams of old where it's like, yeah, we are favored or we should win, but there's a 50-50 chance, that maybe we'll lose based on a bad draft or something like that. Like, no, like outside of these first two games, especially the first round robin, we have 5 teams who are very, very clearly better than us at that point, at least, again, on paper to start. And you're not going to have a time where you can win 2 games like this in one weekend and really try to build on that momentum, okay? If we start 0-2, then we are going to be in real trouble of being the worst team in the LCS. I'm just stating that. Like, these are 2 teams that are just not there in my mind compared to everybody else in the LCS, okay? And while I do not also think that we are there compared to most of the other people in the LCS, if we want to make playoffs, right? If we want to have a chance to prove everybody wrong, we have to come out in week 1, and we have to just get after it. I mean, seriously, we just cannot have a slow start at all. And, excuse me, while that, again, may always seem obvious, I have also been the person in the last 2 years who's preached, oh, let's just take some time. If we lose a little bit early on, it doesn't matter because we're scaling, right? We're going to get better. I don't believe that this team, that our TSM 2023 team scales. They might a little bit, but overall, like, we have to come out and be prepared. We have to come out and be better than the rest of these teams right away, because they will scale. A lot of these teams are built for, taking time for them to kind of come together. And we all know that early weeks of the LCS are when teams are most prone to make mistakes. If we want a chance, right? We've talked about this in the past. It's like, generally, I think it's 7 or 8 wins will get you into the playoffs. So for me, if we can grab 2 of those wins in week 1, then that means we only need to win like 5 or 6 games over the next 7 weeks, including 2 super weeks, okay? So this week is crucial. I cannot emphasize that enough. We will know so much about this team and their struggles and how the spring split is going to line up at 5 o'clock on Friday, January 27th. We are almost a month away from knowing how the first half of the year, in my opinion, is going to go for this team. And that is honestly kind of scary, but maybe also a little bit exciting because it's never really felt like this. We've never had like, hey, we got to go out and do something early. At least in my recollection of years as a TSM fan, it's always been, hey, we're gonna probably lose a little bit early, but then they always come on strong at the end, right? That they just always do. This is not that team, I don't think. This is a team that is going to have to get it done. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm really, really, really interested to see how this is gonna play out because yeah, guys, I'm nervous and excited, but I really do believe. Mark it into your calendar. Get that big red marker out and circle the date. January 27th at 5 p.m. is when we are going to know a lot about how the rest of the split is going to go. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.